Hello there, you're listening to the Box Office Show. I'm Ryan Hill.
And I'm Dylan Johnson. Today we're going to be talking about the box office numbers from last weekend and our box office predictions for this upcoming weekend.
We'll also be talking about the latest entry in the Alien franchise, Alien Romulus. And to help us, a super fan of all things Xenomorph, Sean Tormey, returning to the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. As always, this is the best topic I can talk about, so I'm ready to dive into it.
Start out with some news. House of the Dragon over on HBO. Some drama going on there. This past week, George R.R. Martin posted on his blog to criticize the writers for how certain things were adapted in the second season of the show. And then he also warned and spoiled, which is why I didn't read all of it, things that are coming up in season 3 and 4 and his concerns of how those are going to be adapted based on how they've adapted things in season 2. So a little bit of internal warfare there going on over at HBO. Now, I have seen House of Dragon season 1. I've not yet caught up with season 2. Sean, have you been watching that show?
No, I have not.
No.
I was a big Game of Thrones fan, until I'm gonna watch it, but after I heard that they're only gonna do 4 seasons, I'm honestly just gonna wait. I think I might read the books before I watch the show.
I'm gonna wait until 2028.
Honestly, sure. Why not?
I don't blame you, Sean. I'm right there with you. I watched half of season 1 and kind of just gave up.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think there's other things I'd rather watch right now, and if I'm gonna watch House of the Dragon, I'd rather just binge the whole thing when it's done. If it's only gonna be 4 seasons, what do I care? There's so much TV, so many movies. There's so many old movies I have to see. There's so many old TV shows I've never seen before I need to watch. I need to rewatch
my problem.
BoJack Horseman every year. There's things I got to get to.
Do you?
Yeah.
Need to rewatch it every year?
Get my feels,
Oh. All right. Well, there you go. Y'all will be seeing how it all plays out, I guess, once the 4th season rolls around again. At the end
you can
of this
live
decade.
the disappointment live.
Yeah, I'll watch like seasons 1 through 3 when I know season 4 is coming out. Maybe
that's fair.
Just so I can be ready.
That's what I did with Game of Thrones. I didn't watch shit until the last season was coming out, and then I watched the whole thing building up to the last season.
Poor soul. Oh my god.
I never watched it as it was coming out. It was great. It was a great binge. It was awesome.
It was a great binge.
Until
I binged the first 6 seasons.
Yeah, but I'd say you could have just stopped at season 6, but
I agree. If I was ever to rewatch it again, I probably would.
That's what I'm
doing. Those first 3 seasons, choice.
I thought season 4 was good too.
First 4, come now.
Okay,
come on. First 4 seasons are great.
Perhaps I got confused with The Walking Dead.
Oh, maybe. Oh my god.
We still need to do that Walking Dead episode. I'm gonna get you on there.
What would I contribute to? I've only seen the first 3 seasons and I gave up.
Well, no, the whole point is to make you watch select episodes of the rest of them, like how we did with the 100. So we'll do that. Sean, we should get you on one of those. That'd be fun.
What is it?
And we also need Dylan on one of the roulettes. The episode.
Oh
roulette.
yeah,
I've never done
You understand what Ryan makes me suffer through.
You need to understand what Ryan made me suffer through.
You liked more of those shows than I did, Sean.
Ryan,
like,
I will never forget about Bat Wheels, Ryan. I will never ever forgive you for Bat Wheels.
Bat Wheels season 2 on HBO Max.
Bat Wheels.
Get ready for it. Yeah, it's it's cars, but they're Batmobiles.
Like a kid show,
for preschoolers.
Yes, the kid show. Yes, the kid show.
It's what came up.
Was
in
it
the
good
roulette.
though?
We had to watch it. No. I mean, I can't really remember any of it. It was the Penguin was the villain in that episode, right?
Yeah, it's this vehicle called Ducky. That's why we watched it.
Yeah, Ducky.
The name Duck was in it. The word duck.
Yeah. All right.
Good stuff.
Talking about things for kids. Minecraft. This trailer released. Did y'all see it?
Oh, it looks so bad, Ryan.
It looks so bad.
It looks terrible.
Why didn't Jack Black shave for this?
I don't think he wants to. He wants that. He loves the beard.
I mean, I like it too, but for the role,
He just looks like Jack Black. He doesn't look like he doesn't look like Steve at all.
That's what it is. It's just Jack Black in a blue shirt. That's all it is. He's not Steve. Well, I mean, there's not a lot of character depth to Steve, I guess, but still.
Even Jason Momoa's got like a wild wig on.
I kind of like something different. Yeah. It looks really funny.
I will say though, as bad as it looks, when they announced the movie, I thought it would look worse.
I guess that's kind of good. Fair.
It looks better than I thought it would, but it still looks bad. Because I'm just like, how are you going to make Minecraft live action? It's inherently blocks. Like,
yeah.
How are you going to put people in a world that are blocks? And it does look better than I thought it would. It's something that I don't think needed to be a movie. Once again, so
it should have just been fully animated. I don't know why they didn't do that, but yeah. So that's on the horizon. Minecraft, get your excitement up for it now.
No.
Moving on to the box office breakdown for August 30th to September 1st. Deadpool and Wolverine continuing its domination with 15 million, bringing its domestic total to 600 million. There you go.
Yeah. Pretty awesome. Doing very, very outstanding. Coming in second, the movie we're talking about today, Alien Romulus, with 9.2 million.
Twisters in third place, climbing its way back up the top 10 with 7.7 million.
And in fourth, the independent Reagan biopic with 7.6 million. Not quite the double digits you thought it would get, Ryan.
That's true. However, the Labor Day weekend, if you count that, it did hit 10 mil.
Okay, buddy.
In the regular 3 day, it did not.
Okay, buddy.
I didn't know we were going by Labor Day rules.
Well, we weren't, but I'm just saying if we did select Labor Day rules, which I could have. I'm the one that makes it, so I could have just put Labor Day on there. Usually we do count the holidays, but I just kept it 3 day. It ends with us with 7.4 million.
Zoe Kravitz's Blink Twice with 4.8 million.
The Forge, 4.6 million.
Despicable Me 4, 4.1 million, bringing its domestic total to 350 million.
Afraid, 3.6 million.
And coming here at the end, the re-release of Coraline made 3.4 million, still in the top 10 in its re-release, and has made 30 million domestically in this re-release alone. Sick. Quite awesome.
Very impressive. Yeah.
It's been like 10 years since that movie came out. A lot more. 15?
Yeah, I think
something
15.
Like it's been a long time since it came out.
Our predictions for this upcoming weekend, September 6th to the 8th. Beetlejuice is coming out. Dylan, I know you're a fan. Sean,
love the original.
Shaking your head. Not the biggest fan, apparently.
I've already seen it. That's why.
Oh, okay.
You've seen it. Oh my gosh! Live early reaction. What'd you think?
No spoilers.
It's if you like Beetlejuice, like the original, it's enjoyable. It's just there's a lot of things I didn't care about, but when it gets like really like goofy and like fun and like like Beetlejuice that's where it was like, okay, this is fun. A lot of stupid moments, but fun.
Is it a lot like a nostalgia train where they're just running the old bits from the first movie?
There's some, but there's just a lot of pointlessness in the film, but I don't know if it's like intended pointlessness or it's just kind of like it's here. Like it's weird. I enjoyed a good portion of it, but as an entire film, I saw it.
Yeah.
Well, not a glowing review, but what do you think it'll get in its opening?
Ooh.
Was the theater packed, Sean?
No, but I went to a small theater that's not like a big chain theater, not even in Orlando. So there was like, including me and my friends, like 10 or 12 of us in there. And this was 2 days ago. I mean, well, I don't even know what a good estimate is. Like probably 40 to 50 mil. Cause it's like the name would get people to go see it. But like after the word gets out, it's probably not going to be super well received after that. So a strong 40 to 50.
Okay. I'm going 70. I'm going crazy. I think it's going to do gangbusters. People love nostalgia trains, and they love Beetlejuice, and they love Tim Burton, and they love all of the actors in this movie.
That's
a lot
true.
of love for what this can do. And also, there's just not much else out this weekend.
Yeah, that is see Deadpool and Wolverine for the 8th time. No way.
Somebody will.
Beetlejuice. There were some people that when we went to go see Alien Romulus, I saw people in that suit, the white and black suit. So I'm not sure. Again, I'm not really tapped into the whole Beetlejuice fandom, but I do think it'll make waves.
You guys gonna see it, or
I'm gonna say 85 million.
Ooh, he's going
even higher.
Yeah, that seems too much.
You never know. It could be very front loaded, but that's what I'm gonna put down for 85, 70, 50. Those are our numbers. So we'll see where in the range it falls.
And now let's talk about our main topic, Alien Romulus. You guys went and saw this together last night, correct?
Indeed.
And was it the first time for both of you to see it?
Oh, no.
Okay, no. I didn't think so, yeah. So, Sean, you had seen it before. Ryan, this was your first time seeing it.
Yes.
All right. Initial impressions. I want to start with Ryan first, just because you are not a big horror guy in general. But you do make exceptions for more artistic horror representation. You love the first Alien, and you very much love Aliens, which isn't necessarily a horror movie. But thoughts on Alien Romulus, which I think the argument can definitely be made that it is a horror movie.
Yeah, I would say so. I can agree with that. Let's backtrack and talk about our connection to the franchise in general. Because as you said, I did watch the first Alien. I've seen Aliens. I've seen Alien Covenant with Sean, by the way, although he does not fully remember. We're trying to figure out who else
I really
don't
remember seeing
I don't think it was you, Dylan, but
I don't think I was there, but I don't remember. That was
2017.
That was 2017.
7 years ago, yeah.
Oh, so we were in high school? I don't remember seeing that with you.
This is a high school event. I think I went with Ezra. If you remember Ezra going, there might have been the one big group, but I think I was there with Ezra. Yeah, because he's a big Alien fan.
I don't recall. I remember Sean specifically because I knew he was a big Alien fanatic.
Oh, of course.
So we went
so
there.
Those are the three movies you've seen, Ryan?
Yeah, so those are the only three I've seen. Mm-hmm. And going into this one, I saw the trailers, and I was like, that looks great. Because honestly, if it didn't seem like it was worthwhile, I probably wouldn't go and see it. But those trailers were very well crafted. And so I was willing to go ahead and watch it. And it definitely has its like horror leanings, but this is definitely one of the franchises that I'm like, I can deal with that. Big alien creatures, I can deal with that, you know?
Sure.
Other types of horror, I'll try and stay away from no matter what. But yeah, this one I could definitely do. And because it has such an important place in cinematic history and everything like that, you know, I'm like, I'll continue and watch these types of films. So I went into it. It was late at night. 10:40 p.m. is when it actually started.
Yeah.
I remember distinctly because it was 30 minutes after the showtime, because now they take 30 minutes.
Which is ridiculous.
Very ridiculous.
Truly. And I had a great time. I thought it was great. I thought, again, the craftsmanship, the cinematography, the set design, the practical effects, all that stuff, I thought they knocked it out of the park. The cast that they chose, like they went with all younger, fairly unknowns. I mean, they've been in things before. I recognize a few of them. I mean, Kelly Spaney was in Civil War earlier this year. So not total unknowns, but no like major A-list star was attached to him. But I thought that ensemble that they chose worked really well together. I have some notes that we'll get into later on about that ensemble, but at least the core relationship between Rain and the synthetic Andy, I thought that was a great concept, and a lot of the execution of it I enjoyed. And I thought there were some really well constructed set pieces that delivered on both the thrills of suspense and action, like being able to combine the two of those between, you know, them facing the face huggers in the cryo chamber, them dealing with when they all split up. We'll get into that in the spoiler section. But when they have to split up and are a little bit at odds with each other, I thought that was really well done. And then the elevator sequence, the elevator shaft attack, I thought that was also superb. So a lot of great set pieces in there. And again, just the vibes, the immersion that you get throughout the entire film was really, really solid. So I enjoyed it. Dylan, how about you?
I've only seen the ones you've seen plus Prometheus. I have not seen Alien 3 or Alien Resurrection or Alien vs. Predator, but I've seen all those ones.
I have, I guess, on, back in the day on cable when it would just be on, I've seen Alien vs. Predator, but I was definitely tuned out for all the things that weren't them like fighting each other.
It's not canon.
No, yeah, it's not. It really isn't.
It's not
I don't count it at all. I really
it's just so funny. We talked a little later on. We can bring it up later. Like, where did they go from here with the franchise? I was like, AVP 3, we're coming back.
No, you were like that. Now the multiverse is going to come into play.
I did say that too. That was the first joke I had, and then I was like, no, we'll hit up Alien versus Predator 3 since they've rejuvenated Predator
and also Jason in space. So that you put Jason out there,
dude. Bring him back.
Bring back Jason in space.
He's not Fox though. Is he Fox? He's a Fox.
He's
They'll buy him up.
Maybe
it'll be fine.
Disney will just buy them all. Maybe. But I had seen the trailers and I thought they looked good, but I still had very, very strong reservations just because I thought the Alien Covenant trailers looked good and it ended up not being very good. I thought Prometheus trailers looked good. It ended up not being very good. So I had fairly strong reservations going in. I knew that it had been rated well on all of the apps and whatnot, and people were saying it was pretty good. But I mean, Alien and Aliens are like fucking classics. They're two of the best movies ever made. And so to make a movie 40, 50 years later that's supposed to hold up, I mean, this late in the game, it just seems unlikely. So I went into it with very strong reservations. And I would say that I had issues with Alien Romulus in terms of some originality things, which we'll talk about later, in terms of the exact plot structure of what's happening in the movie and what's happening with the characters. But outside of that, I thought it was delightful. I thought it was great. I had a very, very good time. I think it's up there with Alien and Aliens. I think if they are like the top tier, Alien Romulus is just right underneath them. And I think they did an incredible job immersing myself in the world of that like ship that they're on. And I think all of the practical effects really stood out and made a mark in terms of standing strong for practical effects in films, or at least not the overuse of special effects. A good marriage of the two, I would say. And I think it had a lot of cool set pieces. Some worked really, really well, some not so much. And I think they used a lot of cool filmmaking techniques that we'll talk about as we go through it that made it stand out, made it more suspenseful in a way that lesser movies would not have thought to do.
All right. So a positive initial impression there. Sean, walk us through your history with the Alien franchise. When did you first discover it? When did you fall in love with it? And then for Romulus, what are your thoughts on the latest entry in the franchise?
All right. So, Alien is the reason it's so special to me is, it was the first movie I ever saw, and I was 3 years old. I wish I was kidding. My dad was a big believer, because this happened with him and his dad, that like if he showed me these things when I'm young, and like he can like help me be like, it's not real, like you gotta watch it and just learn, like this is what the
Sean, this is a Xenomorph. They are in space and they will get you. This is a documentary.
Wow, that'd be really crazy. My dad did say that, but he was a big believer in that. And of course, at the time, I was terrified of it. But like as I grew up and like watched more horror films and regular films in general, like my love for it was just there. Like it's just so. I just don't have a complaint about the original at all. Like I've loved it since growing up, and my dad did too, obviously. So I get a lot of it from my dad. Like whenever I think I'm a big Alien fan, I remember my dad's like flat where he lives, and the amount of Alien just merchandise, memorabilia. Some of it's just garbage. I'll even tell him like, Dad, that's stupid. But a lot of it's I'm like, where did you even get that from? But so I've seen the original Alien. I've stopped counting. And Aliens I've seen quite a few times. I watch them a lot. I actually rewatched them both a couple of times for Romulus too. Did not rewatch Covenant or Prometheus for obvious reasons. I still love them because they're part of the universe, but that doesn't make them good movies. I've seen 3 more than 4 or Revelations. I already forgot what it was. I think it's Alien
Resurrection.
It's weird name. That movie did not need to exist, and honestly, it sucks that it is kind of canon. But 3 is also just as bad, but at least it's like I can kind of get behind the plot. It's just was that David Lynch or David Fincher? I forgot.
David Fincher.
That's David Fincher.
It's his first movie.
Yeah, and he should not have started with that because he did some weird things.
Got fucked over by the studio. Like he had ideas and they just steamrolled him and they took over.
That sounds like Fox.
So he wanted his name off the movie. Like it was so far from his vision that he didn't even want to be associated with it.
I didn't know that much
experience
about
for
it.
David Fincher.
Wow. Well, at least he made some better films after that.
Yep. Finally got at least more control over his final cuts later on.
Good.
So made some better movies. Much better movies along the way.
3's still better than 4, but it's not like what you were talking about, how if Aliens is up here, like the middle of the road would be Alien 3 because like Alien 4 is below it, but like Prometheus and Covenant, I'm like this with them because Alien 3 is not a classic, but I don't know if I consider it better than those two. It's so weird. This universe is so weird. But regardless, Aliens, 2 of my favorite films of all time. Well, Alien is my favorite film of all time, obviously. So I've watched them quite a bit. When Romulus came around, of course, me and my dad were talking about it. We were talking about the TV show. We were talking about like everything like that. I'm very excited for it. But I was a bit like you, Dylan, because especially when you like love something a lot, you're going to be like more like worried for it. Like I loved what I saw. I thought everything was looking great. I knew so much information going into the film too. Like I know where it takes place, but like no one is involved from like the previous movies. But at least we know like a timeline of it, and it's a bunch of nobodies. At least until a month or two prior, I didn't really know the actors or anything. Like nothing was really revealed to me, but I was getting excited because of like the practical effects they're using, the props they're using. Like that facehugger prop was awesome. The way they did all that, and the advertising was just getting cooler and cooler. So I was excited, but I was going to hold out until I watched it. So the week of Romulus coming out, I get a midnight Thursday showing because I'm not going to wait to see it. Obviously, I get the earliest I can get, but I got to see it at night. Me and my roommate in New York were out in the New York City streets midnight on Thursday. It was a lot of fun. We went to go see it at the RPX theater. RPX, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Right,
that's
Ryan? Because they didn't have an IMAX theater close to us, so I was like, we'll just go see
IMAX, dude. RPX is
it really better? I haven't seen IMAX in a minute, so
I think Dolby's the best if you're going to AMC. If you can get a Dolby ticket, that's the best viewing experience in my opinion. And then I think IMAX might be a little bit better than RPX, but they're like close somewhere. IMAX is specifically a bigger screen, like it's specifically a taller, wider screen for you to view. Dolby is more of a cinematic experience where it's not as big of a screen, but they incorporate more of a surround sound experience that elevates it.
Yeah, that's fair. We have way more Regals around us when I was in New York. The closest AMC was just like a regular theater, didn't have anything special. Yeah. But so we saw Oppenheimer and RPX. We saw it at the same theater. I'm like, that was pretty cool. Watching Oppenheimer and RPX was pretty cool. So we saw that. And then I walked out a very, very happy person. That movie was awesome. It was so great. Oh my God. I had so much fun. And the funny thing is too, a week before, this is what I was doing while y'all were talking. I'm an Alien fan. So I got like a bunch of stuff a week before. I sadly went to go see Borderlands a week before I saw Alien, but I was talking to the Regal people, like the people that are working there. And I was asking about like if they have any Alien stuff yet, and they did. So I got the cup with the little thing on it right here. I got that here. That was awesome. And then I got this head right here. Whoa. I got the head with it's technically a popcorn bucket, but I don't like it for that. I just like a
terrible popcorn bucket.
It's horrible, but it's okay.
For those listening, Sean has this big Alien Xenomorph replica head. Where the very wide top of it pops off and you can stuff it with popcorn. But it's anatomically correct for the Xenomorph. So it makes for a terrible design for a popcorn bucket.
Yeah, but it's okay because they had another one. I got that one. It's so much cooler. I got this one right here.
Oh, that is cooler. For the audience, this is like a like a what is it? Like the face hugger tube. Canister, but the face huggers are held in, but the face hugger has crawled out of it and is on the outside, and it lights up on the inside like a green color.
Oh, it was awesome. The fact it was so sad though, because I got it all the week before, and I was like, "This is amazing! Thank you so much." The reason it sucked was because I was watching Borderlands, so I had to go watch Borderlands with all this stuff in my hands. And I wish I just got my money back for Borderlands. I just left. I shouldn't have sat there and watched it.
Man, this stuff is cool, but this movie sucks.
It really did. I didn't like get a drink yet, or I didn't like get any like popcorn yet. But when I saw Alien, I got it like all filled. It was great. Great experience. Yeah. So Alien Romulus gives. Oh god, that movie was awesome. Dylan, I agree with you. It's up there with Aliens and Alien. Like I have small nitpicks as like a film goer, but as an Alien lover, like that movie was amazing.
So, all right,
it was amazing.
So fully positive across the board. So now we're going to dive into the spoiler section, get into the nitty gritty of all the stuff that we really enjoyed, and then some of the drawbacks in the film that we weren't fully sold on, but still as a whole, an entire experience. Yeah, it was definitely an awesome film. So what was your absolute favorite part, Sean, as a Alien super fan? What was the part of this film that you were just like, yes, fist bumping?
Well, so the thing is I also try to go in it as like a film goer, because like both of you, I watch many films. I try to go at least once a week, see something new that I either want to see or just to go see something. I have the Regal membership because that's all I had in New York was Regals, and I'm like, if I'm gonna go see movies this much with my roommate, I'd rather just get a membership.
It's a good purchase.
Yeah, it's cheaper. But now that I'm here, we'll see. I do like AMC, but anyways,
you're closer to an AMC than at the very least I am. Like the AMC in Altamont is right there.
It is right there, but so is the Regal in Oviedo.
But so is the Regal in Oviedo.
It might not
be the Regal in Oviedo, like comparison, dude. The AMC in Altamont is like a luxury experience.
I remember y'all doing this debate like a long time ago, so I'll think about it. But for now, I still have Regal. But I will say, so as I went in, obviously the world building and the atmosphere was amazing. But like I said, as a film goer, like I like to start like my ratings off like a couple minutes into it. So I'm like, okay, this is the feel I'm getting for it. As the film keeps going, for me, it just gets better and better. And I just forget as a critic, like what's really going on, because I love it so much. That's why I've seen it so many times. Do you want to know how many times
I've seen it?
How many times have you watched it already?
Ryan, what do you think? We saw it last night, Ryan. How many times do you think I've seen it after last night now?
4.
I was also going to say 4.
More?
6?
More, Dylan.
More?
7. Last night was the 7th time I've seen it.
You've seen this movie 7 times in a week? You went every day?
No, not in a week, since it came out.
Okay.
It's been like what, 2 weeks?
It's been like 2 weeks. So yeah, you've gone every other day to see Alien Romulus?
When I was free.
Was there ever a day where you went more than once in one day?
No, I couldn't have done that just because of like work and like in New York, it's just like because I have to like walk everywhere, so I have to walk. I have to get on the train to the Regal. By the time I get out, like I had other stuff to do, or I was just tired, especially because I didn't have that many days off, obviously. And I've seen it every way I can. I saw it RPX the first time, regular like 2 times. I saw it in AMC regular. I watched it in 40X just because I heard people saying it was good. I was like, why not? It was all right. It was fun. It's not like I'd rather go see like a Fast and Furious movie in 40X than Alien.
Ryan, did you see that the original Twister was in 40X?
I saw Twister
because they brought Twisters back in 40X, and then they brought Twister as well. That's pretty.
But the original Twister is an interesting idea to put that in 40X.
They just wanted to make money again, you know, because Twisters in 40X was pretty fun. Honestly, it probably made the movie slightly better, but I did not see the original in 40X. There was no point. So, but anyway, so 7 times. Last night was the 7th time. Yeah. Hey man, if you listen, I didn't Covenant and Prometheus when they came out. I saw those like twice in theaters, 3 times. Mm-hmm. This movie is actually good, so I love it that much.
Will you be seeing it again in theaters?
No, there's a reason why I saw it 7 times. Is this another thing with like my dad when Alien came out and my dad was growing up, because that was what 79 or like early 80s. Because it came out before The Thing, and that came out in 82, so I'm pretty sure it's like 79, 78.
79 sounds right. It was definitely the 70s.
Yeah.
79.
So my dad was like a later teen at that point. he when he saw Alien, he saw it 7 times in 1 week. He went every day, but I can't do that. So I was like, I love it so much. And obviously my dad saw it. He couldn't see it opening night, but I talked to him. He saw it that Saturday and we talked about it like so much. And I don't know. Oh yeah. He loved it a lot. He still loves the Alien and Aliens more.
Of course. I don't think anybody would ever. You have to find a very specific kind of person to think that Alien Romulus is better.
Yeah, I think in different ways
before the other ones.
Yeah, it's in different ways.
They got exposed to it first.
True. My dad's also just a very nostalgia person. Like, he hates so many new films. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you're just an old man.
He's a cinema
like he hates like Squid Game and like the movie
Squid
Parasite.
Game's awesome.
He hated
1917.
Yeah, he's an old man. He's an old man. I also don't think he likes subtitles. I don't think he likes subtitles.
Greatest movie of the last 30 years.
Dylan was so on board with your dad until you started saying Parasite sucked. Boom.
Listen, my dad loves it. My dad loves films. He loves his horror movies, but he will dog on something if he doesn't like it, and it's just nostalgia stuff. Like, he watched Deadpool and Wolverine. He said it was fun, but I don't think he really enjoyed it as much as I thought he would. But he's a very specific person. But
that I understand. But Parasite, like, come on, man.
I just don't think my dad likes.
You can't.
I just don't think he likes subtitles. I think my dad just doesn't like subtitles. He can't see them, so I don't know. He's just an old man. But anyways, yeah. So I did that 7 times, as much as I could. Mm-hmm. Like, within the 2 weeks. I just wanted to see it 7 times because like he did, and I just loved it that much. Because this is like my version of Alien. Because I obviously didn't like grow up with Alien, and I don't count Prometheus or Covenant for so many reasons. So this one is like the one. But the best part was definitely the ending, Ryan. When The Offspring came out, that was sick. That
is a crazy moment. That is, I went and saw this movie on Tuesday, and I went by myself because Lillian was out of town and Carlos was climbing or something, and everybody else was busy.
He was just climbing, yeah.
He was at the climbing gym, and I went alone. I was sitting next to this kind of obnoxious couple who, like, they were really passionate about the Alien franchise, but at the beginning of the movie, they wouldn't shut the fuck up. So I'm like, if you care, like, they cared enough to like applaud at certain moments. So they were definitely fans of the franchise, but they didn't care enough to have the common decency to shut the damn hell up so that I could watch the movie. So that was kind of annoying. But when the Offspring moment happened, I'm sitting pretty much alone in this theater, and there's not really anybody else near me, and I'm not with friends, and I'm watching this thing. And it does the cut from Andy looking at the
girl,
Isabella Merced on the floor. It does the cut to him turning around and seeing the Offspring, and I went, oh, out loud to myself. I went, oh my god, oh, it is horrifying to look at. It's awesome. Absolutely disgusting.
It's just
incredibly well done.
But it's so unique because it takes parts of like other things. Like, it takes parts from Prometheus as much as that movie sucked. Like the look of the what do they call them? I already forgot.
The engineers.
Like, there's a part of engineers. There's some human side of them. There's a xenomorph in them. Like, the Offspring is just this weird like Fede Alvarez baby that he's like, now that we've made an Alien movie, let's make it weirder. Let's make it, and like that part, I was genuinely like, because the movie is like what, almost like 2 hours into that point too. So I'm like, all right, the basic formula for an Alien movie, something else might happen, but like I'm ready for it. Did not expect that to happen at all. That thing was disgustingly awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, it definitely. The movie itself was definitely borrowing a lot heavily from Alien and Aliens in terms of it's like a combination of the two of those movies is sort of how the plot kind of plays out a little bit, which is fine. Like, I'm okay with it, but it's not necessarily an incredibly original story. They're following the principle of Aliens, where they are going to this Alien and Aliens. Like, Aliens is also very similar in premise to Alien. They are a ship of people who go to this place that has been desecrated by some unknown force, and then the force takes hold of one of them and starts to multiply, and they are on the run, and they both end with a space battle where the final alien is shot into space. Like, the plot points are very, very similar, which is okay. It just reminds me of like The Force Awakens being very similar to A New Hope, like something like that, where like I don't think the movie's necessarily bad because of it, but I do wish something different had happened that I wouldn't see coming. Because like I could see it coming that she was gonna blast the thing off into space. It's alien.
That's another thing though, is like how else do you really kill something like that? Like a xenomorph's easy. Like you see it in the film, but like that's the thing that I love about the offspring, as they call it too, is because like you're never gonna see this thing again. And if they do, I think that's stupid because this is a one-off and the thing is now dead. Like the reason it happens because this woman was pregnant, she injected herself with that stupid stuff, and she made that. It should never come back in another alien anything that the offspring should.
I agree.
So I love that it hopefully is a one-off, but also you look at it, it's like, how do you kill that? So the only way to would be like to blast it off into space, which sucks because it is taking off of literally aliens, Covenant. Same thing happened in Covenant. The same thing I think almost happened in Prometheus too. Like it always ends with they get back on the ship, they think they're fine, but there's somehow still one more left on that ship. Yeah, like it that formula.
It's sucks, the final boss. Yeah,
but at least like this one to me, I'm like, how the hell do you kill that thing? Like, there's no way little Kaylee Rain, whatever her name, Rain, can like actually kill that. Plus, no one else was alive. Andy was like seizing on the floor because he got whacked in the face.
Yeah, and she didn't have any weapons at that point, anything like that. So for me, that didn't bother me at all. Really, I didn't think it. I don't know, felt derivative at all because it was borrowing some of the same like basic plot points, and plus how they get into that situation is different from the first and second. Like these are people that are not sent by the company; they're like off on their own thing, trying to get away. So I like that.
Plus, that an alien like sneaks on the ship in the past movies. This one, it's a birth that happens like on accident, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones, it's like, an alien got on the ship after we left. This one, it's like they actually technically are safe until Kate.
They almost got away with it.
If it weren't for those meddling xenomorphs, yeah, you're right.
If those cryopods, if they just were full, they would have been in and out, no issues at all.
It does suffer from that one trope where it's like if they just do like one thing, then they're all like alive and safe. But that doesn't make a movie.
Yeah. I will say, going back to the beginning, though, I think I was captivated off the start just because in recent times, I think, a lot of sci-fi-ish or even fantasy-ish or any kind of product or any kind of movie or TV show that requires some form of world building in it, I think has been disappointing to me to watch. I don't think I've been captivated enough in the world that they're trying to build. I'm not convinced that this world has rules that I'm supposed to be following. I'm not convinced that I'm in a real fictional world that they've created. This one, I think, did a really good job of building that world in a very short period of time, of understanding where we are. We are on this mining planet. These are the rules that is set up. Or we are on this colony. Is a colony that has not yet finished terraforming. All these people are stuck here. There's nothing they can do about it. This life is terrible.
No sunlight. Yeah.
No sunlight. I'm like, I understand exactly where all the characters are coming from immediately, like from the get-go, and I can relate to everything that's going on because this might be a little nitpicky of other movies and TV shows, but I feel like I have a problem with the world building of other things where when you are trying to build out a world, you're trying to show the world you're building out, you should be showing more of the world. And I feel like a lot of content that I've seen in the last few years where it's sci-fi related is showing the main character moving through the world. And at that point, I'm just staring at a famous person who I know in a set that has been created for them to walk through. And I'm not really seeing it with my own eyes. I'm not really experiencing parts of the world outside of that character. It's only the world in relation to that character that I'm experiencing. Whereas in this movie, I felt very much like there is a world going on around this character. It's completely unrelated to Kaylee Spain's character. There are people there who have lives that are existing, that are trying to make ends meet, that are robbing Andy, that are playing dice. There are people who are doing things throughout their life in this world that have nothing to do with the character, because that's what a real world is. It exists outside of the story.
I also
feels like. So I think they did a very good job doing that.
Well, I love on top of that too is like, because I agreed, like when I saw, I was like, they really built this world from like nothing, like prior knowledge. Like Jackson has never been in another Alien movie. This planet has never, even the new planet
they colonized it.
Yeah, but I just love also how simple everything is. Like they don't make anything too complicated. Like the direction that the characters are trying to go to is very simple, and then it lets you, like you said, Dylan, like see it through your own eyes and like see the world and like what they're going through how you want to see it, instead of like making this over extended plot based on all of that. Like we know exactly what every single character wants to do, even if it is the same objective, and they have like different ways of going about it. So the first like bit of the story is small character development, but you get to see the whole world and what they're going to be going into. I love it. I think it was a very good start to the film.
Yeah, I think world building was incredible. Truly thought that, we were situated perfectly into it. Again, it looked great. The mix of the practical and the CGI that they did
fantastic. Absolutely
was amazing. And this is on like an $80 million budget.
Yeah, it wasn't that big.
Looks fantastic. Again, the creator, like when you're able to get people that know what they're doing with the special effects behind the camera, I mean,
looks phenomenal.
Does a whole world of difference for that. So yeah, I thought that was very immersive. And the one thing that I wanted out of that ensemble cast, I just wanted more development for those side characters.
I agree.
There's only 6 of them. There weren't like that many.
There's not a lot of people. Yeah.
And so I felt like we could have
smaller
spent
than
more
the original
time.
Alien cast too. There's only 6.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I felt like we could have spent more time with them on that planet. Like I would not have been mad if we spent a little more time on that planet, if they needed to retrieve one other thing before they were ready to like take off. That just gives us more time with them, learning about their lives. Because Aliens did that perfectly. Like in that cafeteria scene, the mess hall, like that was a really great way to establish all those characters, get their dynamics out. I feel like that we were just missing a bit with the Romulus crew.
Yeah, because once they take off, the story is pretty much going and it pretty much stays almost like in real time. There's a few times where they jump, but it's almost entirely in real time. So like you are with the characters and you are going from that point. They are going to the ship. We all know what's waiting for them. It's an alien movie. We know where they're going. It's going. Like I think you're right, Ryan. If we had spent like 15 minutes on the planet, where we just maybe even 10, where we just had a couple of scenes with even those just some
backstory would be nice, like a little bit. Like we know they all know each other, but we get like one key detail for all of them, like the one guy who doesn't like Andy because of what happened with his mom. Like that's a cool thing to build on, but they don't really give us enough background for it, and they build on it kind of slowly until what ultimately happens. And then like 2 of them are related, but they don't really build on that. Like, and then there's Navarro, who is like the pilot of the ship that's connected with some, but like you don't really know much about her. So I agree with the character development as well. It's very small, not much into it.
But once it gets going, it gets going.
It gets going very fast.
When they get onto that ship and they're floating through it, it looks incredible. All the wire work they're doing to float through it with the gravity, and then like the added effect of the gravity turning on every once in a while just to keep the ship in function is great.
The gravity stuff was really cool. Yeah.
Well, that's another so much.
That's another cool thing, Dylan, is that like I think Fede Alvarez benefits, but also like loses a bunch because he loves the Alien franchise as well. I saw a lot of his interviews on it. I think he benefits from it in a sense because he doesn't even just use the movies; he uses like the games and like some of the old books about it. Because like that, the scene where they first connect to the ship and they do that thing to open like the little air duct.
Yeah.
That little switch was never in an Alien movie until the game, Alien Isolation. And I know that because I play the game every year in October. It's like a little tradition. I love it. It's so much fun. But
so did you get all giddy when they did it in the movie?
Yes, because they're like doing it because you have to hit it 3 times and you push a button and then it opens. And I was like, no way, this is actually in an Alien movie now. That's so cool. And he even talked about that in something. So like it's cool that it uses not just like Alien and Aliens as like inspiration and like direction, but he does still steal a lot from other projects, and I feel like originality would have been nice, but I do like the little bits of fan service
reference in there. The reference to because including the original Alien, that shot of it hanging there, knowing that is the OG alien from the first movie, is epic. The inclusion of Ian Holm's character from that first movie,
that was so
I guess
cool.
it's not the same character, but it is a synthetic android who is the same model as that character. Including that was also really cool because I remember seeing the half body on the ground when you first see it, and it like grabs Kaylee Spaney's
Rain.
grabs
she grabs Rain.
Grabs one of them, yeah. And I saw it and I was like, I know I'm just looking at like a very darkly lit half body on the ground, and I know it just the shirt looks familiar. And the hair looks familiar. It looks a little bit like Ian Holm's character.
I didn't even know. I was so excited. I was like, how are they doing this? That was so cool.
I thought it was just like maybe like a subtle reference, just because I thought it was like going to be like a throwaway. Like he's wearing the same shirt that Ian Holm wore in the original. How crazy. I didn't think they were actually going to prop him up and make him a character and have it be Ian Holm and have him be throughout the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
but I did like that reference, and I liked the inclusion. I thought it was really, really good, and I love the taking the chip from him and putting it in Andy and having that switch really cool. In Andy.
That was cool.
Because one of my favorite shots in the movie is when Andy, after he chases them back onto the ship and they get onto the ship, and it cuts to Andy, and he's like realizing what's going to happen or what could happen, and it has like all the sirens going around him, and you could feel like the shift in his character. That's a great shot.
Well, that's the thing. Absolutely. I was telling my friend after we left the movie the first time, I was like, I like fan service in films. We see it a lot in Marvel movies. We see it a lot in like recent stuff. Like Deadpool Wolverine had so much fan service. I love how in this movie, the fan service that he does still is like a part of the timeline in the plot. Because during that time, Ash's model or like Ian Holm's character is still a model they use. And they just call him Rook. So, like, that's great for me as an Alien fan to, like, be like, oh, he's in the first one. That's awesome. But it still makes sense for the story. It's not just a throwaway, like you said. Like, I would have liked it. It would have been a cool throwaway. But at least it makes sense. So it's, like, fan service that makes sense. And that makes me even happier as an Alien fan to watch all this stuff happen. And I'm like, I'm noticing these things. And it's not just thrown in because he likes the movies. Yeah. It actually makes sense for the plot.
Feels very satisfying to watch that and to have it all fit together. But I thought all that stuff was great. I thought the whole initial encounter with the facehuggers where they're one by one plopping into the water and swimming around in it. And then
there's something in the water. There's something in the water.
There's something in the water. It's so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was
so British.
Very British, very British. But I thought it was a very effective sequence for sure. And yeah, they're the ones that started that. Like them trying to get the cryo fuel, whatever that is the thing that
energy
heats everything up and lets those face huggers loose.
Dude, the look of it when it jumps onto the one guy's face. I forget his name. He's like
Tyler?
The main guy.
Tyler?
Maybe, yeah. When it like the tube, the face hugger penis, if you will. When it's like smashing into his face,
and it like
it's like trying to get into his mouth, dude, and it's like kind of getting in.
He's
it's
like turning his head.
Because you never. I mean, I don't know about the other movies, but most of the movies you don't really see it go into their mouths. You see it get pulled off. You know what's happening, but you don't really see it going like forcefully forcing its way into their mouth. And it is an uncomfortable thing to watch.
Mm-hmm. Facehuggers were way more of a threat in this movie than previous movies because facehuggers in previous movies were just like in Alien 4, sorry for spoilers, I know you guys won't watch it.
It's fine.
There's literally a scene where there's these scientists have 5 people like unconscious and like asleep in a tube, and they wake them up with eggs in front of them because they want to breed aliens and like test on them. So it's not really like a threat. They're literally just used for either human or like xenomorph like rebirth. And this one, for like the first good part of like the beginning, it was the main threat, and there was like so many of them. It was awesome.
Before this, they were like a means to an end, you know? Like, that's how you get the xenomorph is via the facehugger. But now it's like, regardless of getting to the xenomorph, which still happens in this movie, the facehugger is still a problem. Like, it's still coming at you, and there's dozens of them.
Throughout it, it was awesome.
Yeah. I like the addition that they don't have eyes, so that you have... Like the temperature thing via sound and temperature. I think that's very clever.
Which is very
they have to
new.
Keep their main temperature. Yeah, I think that's a clever addition because, like, they don't have eyes. I'd never thought about it before, but you're right. I don't know why I didn't think about it. It just makes sense.
How they ever find me?
Yeah, how do they know to stick that thing right where my mouth is? How do they
But also where my mouth is?
How did it know?
But also that's another cool thing is like they keep adding things in this movie which is like technically creating lore because I never even thought about freezing the end of the tail off would be like a reason to get it off. Like that's really cool. And then also like the suspense of both Kate, Tyler's sister, trying to escape through that door that the alien's like coming out of that's going to attack while they're also trying to sneak through the facehuggers, and she's like communicating. Like the suspense for both was like really good. I was like, this is the worst opportune time for every single character, all because this girl doesn't know how to grab a key off the floor.
I was there. Like, wow. She didn't know it was there. It popped off the hook.
She didn't look.
Her cousin just got melted, you know.
Well, that's another cool thing though too.
Out of her chest.
I didn't even mention that. We finally have someone die not from an alien or facehugger. Literally died from acid.
That's a new one. Yeah, that one was cool.
Awesome. Literally burned through his fingers, his chest. My god, it was awesome. He deserved that.
The use of acid in this one definitely was elevated because, like, obviously in the first one they just don't shoot it because it has acid blood. In the second one, the acid isn't much of a problem. They just shoot it fucking willy-nilly. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, more of a problem.
I don't know what the rest of them is. But this one, it becomes a major issue on multiple occasions, you know?
Even if it is a bit goofy when we get later on in the film. I thought it was a bit goofy.
It was cool. It was goofy. The zero-G acid is kind of goofy. But
it was cool.
I thought it was a great concept. Obviously it has to be CGI for that to happen, and it can look a bit goofy of just like this random green...
I think I think it looked fine. I think the idea was goofy. Just because, like, I guess, sure, it's your only option in that moment, but the odds that it works are still pretty fucking low. It's floating in space. It can go in any direction. It can still hit the walls. Like, you're just hoping that it does. It's like
and they kind of
your only chance, sure.
It goes through the walls, that's fine. It was just the floor that they were.
But they also contradict the whole point of shooting them in that point, because the reason she does that is because the acid would like spray back and hit her. But then literally in the elevator scene, Andy like jumps to like kill that xenomorph and shoots it in the face, and no acid gets on him. So
like 20 times it goes, and then he plows through its head and just splurts acid, and they go, all right, it's fine.
Then he's
like on top of it, just shooting it down.
Yeah, but like no acid gets on. So what was the point of like waiting, not shooting them?
I don't know. Great shot though. Looks really cool.
And a great line too. He technically, I told Ryan this last night, Dylan. Since Andy said that line, the "get away from her, you bitch" line, in like the corniest way, he technically said it before Sigourney Weaver did in timeline aspect, because this movie takes place before.
You're
Aliens. Right. So Andy originated the quote.
Beat her to the punch.
Yeah, I thought that was a little goofy.
That was definitely like
I would have included the.
But it was so funny the way he said it.
You enjoyed
until
it.
You said it just now. I forgot until you said it just now that was a quote from Aliens. So yeah, it's like that connection for me makes me dislike it more.
Damn, I thought
you
it was
remember
funny.
That line?
I didn't remember until he just said it. I thought it was corny in the moment, and I was like, that's kind of a weird thing for his character to say. But you saying it now that it's a reference to Aliens doesn't...
It makes it worse.
It makes it worse. It
really does.
Like, he could have just said anything else.
Yeah, but also an android as like childhood brained as Andy is should not be going, get away from her, you
bitch.
Like come on. It's funny, but like you don't
Where did he learn such a word?
Yeah.
It's just such an epic moment in Aliens, in like the actual OG way.
When the line delivery Sigourney gives, you can't.
She's in the big like yellow forklifty looking thing versing the Queen. Like it's an iconic line, but now technically Andy said it first, technically. So
yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit.
I suppose he did.
But going back to the,
I feel bad, Ryan. Dylan, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ruin that quote for you. Go ahead, Ryan.
The zero G stuff with the acid blood and all that. I just think that was one example of many times where they had characters doing smart things and like actually coming up with solutions to problems. Yeah, like Rain comes up with
she comes up with everything technically.
The cryo thing, like freeze the root of the tail,
the temperature
stuff. So it's just refreshing to have in a horror film. Again, Dylan, this is one of my big critiques as well. Just like it's hard to buy into this stuff when they just do the silliest things possible so that we can get a scare. So it just feels contrived. Obviously, this isn't without those things. She makes a certain choice in the elevator that is like top tier stupid,
really dumb.
But
I get it.
But for the most part, again, she's making like these great strategic decisions in order to survive and like find her way out. And that makes sense. Like that's what I want to see out of these people that are supposed to be intelligent. I guess she's not a scientist, but like a lot of the other films like focuses on the scientists or explorers, and it's like they should be making like smart decisions, intelligent decisions, thinking through things,
common sense, literally.
Yeah. So I was delighted at seeing many times where they did that. Like they took the smart route.
They were using their
brain. Sometimes say what?
They're using their brain, using their noggin.
Yes, using the brain.
Whatever they have in there, yeah.
Instead of just doing the dumbest possible things. But there are sometimes where their emotions override them, like when the guy, again, I don't know his name, but the main guy, I guess, that survives and goes back for his sister when he like hears her screaming and goes, like that's a great moment because it's like, he obviously would want to go and save her.
And he also just found out she was pregnant.
Exactly.
Like she, like, I remember Rain, I didn't even hear it the first time too. I heard it like after the fourth time. Rain was like, open the door for her, she's pregnant. And then Tyler like immediately like says a mental breakdown right there in front of Andy when they were trying to open the door for her because the alien was there. So
dude, Andy's such a good character. That's just brutal.
Oh, the actor too. He had to go back and forth between like a childhood innocent android to a fucking
like a British one,
British like sadistic. Yeah, like what a good act. He's so good. I loved it.
He was really good. That shit was awesome. He's a very good, like, very complicated character because at times he's very much an antagonist to what they're trying to do. At other times he is the protagonist of saving the day. But a very complicated kind of character to be there.
And he has to still stay in that mindset of he is an android, regardless if he's the antagonist or just the friend of the protagonist. Like, you have to stay in that mindset of who you are, regardless of both scenarios that you're in. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't really enjoy, I guess, is how they still tie it into Covenant and Prometheus. Because, like, I get it, what you're doing, but, like, you don't have to.
Which it may be trying to, like... Yeah, I understand. I've watched a YouTube video a bit at work today about the idea of it connecting to Alien, Covenant, and Prometheus, and like not answering the plot holes that were left in those movies, and kind of creating more plot holes. Like if they were sending the Romulus mission to go and find the alien from the original Alien movie, why not just go to the ship where there are a bunch of eggs sitting around? Or why not go, like, get the queen that is... Or why not make the movie take place after Aliens instead of Alien and have it be them finding the queen that got shot into space so that the queen can make eggs that have facehuggers in them that they could pump out? Because in what way does mining the DNA of the Xenomorph from the Alien movie, are they able to synthetically generate facehuggers?
Well, that's another thing too, is because like
the whole idea was that the facehugger makes the Xenomorph, which makes the queen Xenomorph, which makes more facehuggers.
Yeah, but
how does a Xenomorph make a facehugger?
It gets really hard because of what happened in Covenant Prometheus, because there's technically different types of Xenomorphs. Like the Xenomorph you get in Covenant isn't even a Xenomorph. The first one, the white one, is a Neomorph, and then the really shitty one that happens after the one guy gets facehugged and like the non chestburster. Remember that really dumb scene to CGI? That's not a Xenomorph. That's technically called a protomorph. I said that was stupid. So there's technically not one Xenomorph in Covenant, but like that's the thing too, is like how does that really tie into this now? Like it's so complicated because they are like, oh, it's technically not a Xenomorph because it wasn't a chestburster. This was a protomorph. I'm like, you didn't have to do that.
Yeah, they're getting into all kinds of like... They're creating so many plot holes in those first two movies with focusing so many details on like creationism and the idea of like the origins of the like Xenomorph and the engineers. Yeah. And I just, it takes back a lot of the original rules set in the first two Alien movies about where those aliens came from, what the space jockey thing was in the first Alien movie, like what all that origin was, and just kind of rewrites a lot of it. And then this movie kind of continues that rewrite because it would be too difficult not to, I guess. I just feel like they could have continued this story of Alien where they are trying to, or Ash is trying to capture the Xenomorph for the Whaling Company simply for its like genetic qualities in terms of like a weapon instead of creating the perfect being.
Yeah,
like it's like the whole like the idea in the first Alien movie is that he is the perfect being, but they're just trying to kidnap the Xenomorph to
make more
of them and make them use them as weapons, as opposed to genetically altering human beings to become cross Xenomorph hybrids, offsprings, I guess.
Yeah, which
to make human beings the perfect organism.
Love the Offspring, but that's the exact reason why they included the Covenant and Prometheus stuff, is to make something like the Offspring, even if it is just a one throw off. Luckily, it's all gone. Like, the Offspring is gone. It looks like Romulus and Remus ships are dead. Like, they exploded.
They wrapped it up.
Hopefully that's him wrapping it up and just throwing it aside, being like, let's just focus on Xenomorphs.
Now they can do the TV show, and it can just be about the Xenomorphs. We can wrap it all up. It's all done.
He'll come back for his third film in that Covenant Prometheus little trilogy he was trying to do.
Alien vs.
So we'll see. They'll find a way to milk it because Romulus is doing well. But yeah, overall, a very successful extension of the franchise. There were a lot of things that went over my head. All the Prometheus Covenant connections. I also hadn't seen any of them. I mean, I think I saw Aliens last year, but like rewatched it last year. But that was the most recent time that I had seen it. So I went in pretty blind. So obviously, like the big line in the elevator, I remember that. Certain things here and there, like, Ash, who isn't Ash, coming up, which I don't know how much I feel positive about that. Ultimately, that was the one part, the only time really of all the visual and practical effects that we saw throughout all of it.
It looks pretty rough.
Deep fake thing that they were doing there.
It did look rough.
It looked rough. So
fun though.
I appreciate that.
I think
they
I
had
can
a reason for it, I guess, for the model being the same.
I wish they had done what they did in the OG Alien, which is they just had like a mechanical version of Ian Holm after he had gotten like ripped in half by the alien.
Yeah, like it was just like a face, right? They put
it's like a physical mechanical version of him that is like supposed to be talking, and it looks just as rough as the deepfake version does, but he's physically there, and so it feels a little more tangible. I think they could have gotten away with that a little bit.
They also made him say his original OG line too. Remember that, Dylan? When they before they turned on the anti-gravity and they did the whole acid thing, he literally said over the line, he said, I won't lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathies. He said that in the original movie too, which again, it's cool, but because the first one was like, oh my god, he said it.
That one makes more sense because it's the same model, I suppose, that in its wiring, that is just the line it will deliver in that certain circumstance.
It also makes sense for that because, I mean, he's an antagonistic character. Him saying that isn't like out of line for the character, whereas for Andy, like it did just feel out of nowhere. Like it was very obviously post-finished line in Alien franchise.
Alvarez just really want him to hey, say the line, but like, remember, you're Andy, you're not Ripley. So say it a bit.
Which, I mean, he delivered it as Andy would, but again, it's just like Andy wouldn't deliver that line. So
Andy, why did you say that? I don't know. Something in my programming told me to.
All right. How many cryopods out of 5 are we giving Romulus? I'll go to Dylan.
I'm going to give it 4.
I also give it 4 cryopods. Sean, how about you?
As a film, coming from a film critic, I would also give it a solid 4, slightly to 4.5. But
where is your heart truly?
It's a 5 out of 6 out of 5, 7 out of 5.
Scream it from
throw it up there, throw it all the way up there. My heart says it's better than most other movies that come out in the past couple of years. Like it's so good. But again, I can look at it as a film critic, especially now.
Oh no,
he was so excited.
So much.
He's gone.
Froze completely.
Did I?
Okay.
Oh, I froze. I didn't know I froze.
He loved the movie so much and was so enthusiastic that the whole computer shut down.
Your passion was overwhelming.
On my end, I didn't freeze, so that's pretty funny. No, as a critic, like if I went in and I didn't love Alien, I would still give it a 4 out of 5 because it does a lot of things well. But the character development was one thing that I can still like defend that personally, but that doesn't matter. But
it's like a nitpicky thing almost. Like I would want this to make the movie better, sure, but like you're not gonna get it. So
and there's
enjoy what you got.
Yeah, but it's come on.
There's just so many good things about it that to find negatives, I feel like would be nitpicky, and I think.
Yeah, and 5 out of 5, probably more. But I'll give it a little credit. I think it's a good horror movie too. out of like the horrible years we've had of horror movies. Like the last good horror movie I saw before this was Talk to Me, and that was last year. That was like a horror movie. Like that was really good. This one had
that one still
had good. It's really good, Dylan. You would like it. Like just the story is great. It had really good suspense moments, good world building of like an atmosphere that's supposed to be creepy and it's supposed to be suspenseful. And it doesn't really rely on jump scares, but it has moments that like would freak you out. And then I told this to Ryan too. That last scene at the end where she's climbing back up, you know, like how she throws the acid pod and it opens the hole, Dylan, and she's like still hooked, and it went dead silent. I not only was that amazing, but as she's climbing back, I did not expect the thing to still be alive. So I was like, no, that is a good jump scare. That is how you do a jump scare.
I didn't like the jump scare that much just because it felt like because it was first person perspective, it felt like a video game jump scare. Just the way it was shot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the first person aspect for sure. Yeah. But I still felt like the way they formed it, because it was like it's slightly unexpected, you know. So I didn't expect it. Yeah, and the dead silence too was really good. So
yeah. All right, well, that's our ratings. That's Alien Romulus. That's the show. That's all the time we have. If you'd like to give your thoughts on the show, you can email us at theboxofficeshowpod@gmail.com. Our main title theme for the show is Sundown by Joseph McDade. And if you like the show, please give us 5 stars on whatever podcast app you're listening to. Sean, thank you so much for coming out. It's always a pleasure to have you here. We love talking horror movies with you. We love talking sci-fi movies with you. We love talking movies with you in general.
It's always a pleasure to be here. I'm here anytime I'm needed, man.
Absolutely. And you will be back hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, for the audience, be sure to tune in next week. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.